Well, hello there, everybody. I know that there is a little delay between when we go live and when you see us, but either way, time travel does exist, at least in our realm. Welcome, everybody. It has been a long time. It's been, let's see, 5 weeks, I think. Um, yeah, 5 weeks to almost, well, in fact, it would have been 6 weeks after today. But anyway, I digress.
Too long.
We've been catching up offline, so that's why we're tardy. And but it's okay because y'all are here, we're grateful that you're here, and we thank you. We just speak favor over us because folks, the world, the whole universe, the whole astrological charts. I mean, we are in, I think as I heard yesterday, we're like in the really middle of the deep kimchi, the BS, the stinky poo, the what have you. And this has only been like the first act. There's several more to come. So strap in. If you haven't felt it, if you haven't had some unusual disaster, some unusual crisis, some unusual emergency that just came out of nowhere, you're not alone.
No,
In fact, I think Doris Cannon said that if these things come upon us, in which she prophesied, she says you're part of the chosen ones. So I don't know about that, but I know this. Been a lot of heavy stuff. So kind of speak favor over us all because it could have been a lot worse. There, look who it is! My goodness, they're Jenny. They're growing up.
I
What
know.
happened to Theo?
I'm shrinking and they're growing. They are.
He just grew up, you
He's
know?
gonna be a rugby player, this boy. He's so strong, aren't you?
The
Okay.
thing about with children growing up, it makes you also feel that much more youthful. I'll say it that way.
And then shut the
Well,
door.
it's good to see you, Theo. Welcome. Good to see you, man. I love it. Um, anyway, nothing missing, nothing broken, and as always, be kind to your mind. And wow, Jenny, that's a time warp. I mean, Trina, did you just see how, I mean, that child
It's
has,
amazing. He's growing so fast right now, so fast.
wow,
Wow.
the
It's like what
wonders of,
happened? You got him out of the school thing, and now he's just like,
Oh yeah, he's just he's growing his shoulders and everything. He's growing and he's sort of round at the moment, so I know he's gonna sprout up again.
yeah.
So, uh, he's
Just
growing.
so from watching him be a baby on your lap to now, it's
yeah, I
like,
mean,
oh
that's
my
what
gosh.
literally, we have watched Theodore grow up. I mean, and thank you, Jenny, for sharing that. Um, but
Welcome, thank you
wow,
for being
I
there with
had
for it.
no idea. Just want to say, everybody into the chat room, thank you. I see y'all there, lost in space, and Grandpa Brian, hate to hear you see. There's commonalities working amongst this group because some I know, some I don't know, some I sense. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah. And the thing that I found out, ladies, is that, when the greatest trials we face, there's always a greater reward.
Mm,
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know, I think too, like when you're starting to remember who you are and you literally start to, awaken, I really do. I think it brings a lot of challenge in. It's part of the process, because it's just interesting. And it seems like every time you make a huge breakthrough or an awakening or a new level, it seems like there's always like consequences for that. It's like the energy has to balance it out somehow. So,
And there's always
yeah.
a price to be paid.
A
I
little
mean,
bit. Yeah,
And,
I've
and I
seen
don't know
that.
if it's like that on the other side, but I know in this realm, that there are physical laws, and then there are those laws of the unseen.
Yeah.
But I'm forever an optimist, no matter how much sometimes it seems like you're the receiving end of the short end of the stick. I kind of figure it's like this. you turn that stick around and I'm back on top.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, you've heard
Yeah.
that expression, you got the short end of the stick. It all depends how you look at it. The
Right.
universe isn't up or down, but if I turn that around, I'm on top. I'm
Yeah.
on top of the world. I got the world by the string. But anyway,
God
hey,
love your
why not?
joy,
I mean, you have to
Wayne.
have a little laughter. You have to, because there's a lot of heavy stuff. I mean, our sun, what did it go and do? I think what it popped off, an X 5.1 solar flare, and there is a CME heading our way. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So
Y'all might want to get an EMP shield for your vehicles.
there's a lot of
Yes.
truth to that. I mean,
Or a very
there,
old vehicle.
you
Yeah.
know, but
Exactly. Yes.
it's and the thing about with cell phones and computers, they have lithium batteries and they never do well. By the way, that's how the Israelis killed all those Hamas people.
Yeah.
Did you know that get this? All right, everybody. So this is how they did it. Every one of us who carry one of these are potential bombs. All they have to do is send the signal through the Wi-Fi for it to receive. And what it does, it purposely overcharges the battery. Not overcharges it, it charges in a sense, it makes it very hot to where eventually it will explode. That's how they did it. And where do most people keep their cell phones? Usually
Yeah.
next to, for many people, it's right in their pocket. So it's going to take your genitals right out. I mean, if you're a dude, it's all over. I mean,
And if they can send that through there, don't write it off that they're sending things through their frequency wise to
no
imprint
kidding.
on your
Yeah,
consciousness while you sleep. you know,
yeah.
so Trina's
Yeah.
quite right. Get a box, put it in, when you're sleeping, because that's the next big thing. They're already doing it, but I feel that's the next big marketing thing that they're going to be
Listen,
doing.
I keep telling people this is a black mirror, and black mirrors they've been around longer than we have. I mean, they're portals, but they call us conspiracy theories. Just want to say hello, everyone in the chat room. I see Goddess Sabina and Deborah. I see Joyce. Hello. I see Nina. I'll have her on Robert on Friday. By the way,
Nice.
I got to give a plug to Dr. Heather Lynn will be on tomorrow. I am really excited, ladies, about having her on. She has been seen on the History Channel, the Discovery Channel. I think she has written now 5 books. The newest one coming out is the Anunnaki Revelation. How the Book of Revelation has actually was written by more or less well, I won't give it away to you, but yeah, it
I
would
think there's a
appear.
lot of truth to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there is
I think
too.
I can jump to that conclusion too.
I really
I
do.
concur.
And I don't think they really care anymore. I mean, it's like, so about us. Go and tell the world. The world ain't gonna
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, I
It's
don't think
like,
they can.
yeah, that's one of you folks. But anyway, I'm excited to have her on tomorrow. Um, I think it's going to be a wonderful conversation for me personally. It's an honor to speak to, well, she has her PhD, I believe, in history and I may be wrong in this, but maybe in paleontology. Anyway, for historian, she calls herself a rebel historian. In other
Nice.
words, she believes that there is a history that is embedded within the history that we think we know as history, and it's not. So tune in tomorrow.
Again,
Invite your friends. It's going to be well worth it. Folks, it is an honor for having her come on here. I mean, she will be also featured. I believe I'll have the dates on it on Ancient Aliens on the upcoming episode. I think it's here in the next couple of weeks. So, and Ancient Aliens will be doing, get this, a story on the Anunnaki.
Oh, nice.
Hmm. So,
I
there we
love
go.
that. Well done,
So,
Wayne.
Jenny, You've had some, talking about, and please, if you've had some of these experiences, let us know, right? Everyone is aware, well, what happened to my wife, September 25th. And it's interesting that date and things that have gone around forth, but she is still recovering from that. And when I hear what you went through, Jenny, I don't know if you want to share that, but
Yeah, I wouldn't have. It's been so tense. But similar to you, it was the first Tuesday that you'd had to cancel. I can't. The dates have rolled into one.
yeah,
Um, so I can't quite remember. But the that day, Will came home from school so ill that with a injury to his body that had expanded so much it was like a watermelon. I rushed him into the hospital. I just drove him there, didn't wait for an ambulance. And within 15 minutes of us getting there, he was on an operating table for 12 hours, 12 and a half hours. Um, at 2 o'clock in the morning, he was bleeding out into his body, but bleeding out. He had been all day at school. They hadn't listened when he'd been brave, even with his autism, to say 3 times, which is unheard of. Usually, the first time you just shut down and mask more. Um, so he could hardly walk. And so they at 2 o'clock in the morning, I had different teams of doctors coming in that had worked on him. They'd had to leave him open while a specialist was brought in by helicopter. So it was quick to just from Sunderland to Newcastle, which isn't very far, but far enough that it could have been a delay, but there was no delay at 2 o'clock in the morning. He's a specialist that specializes in these nano things that they're using now and coils, because they found that not only was it bleeding from one place internally, his femoral artery had then ruptured. Yeah, so we were this close to losing him. Um, Many blood transfusions afterwards, weeks in hospital afterwards, and then in and out of hospital since. Um, the doctors didn't actually believe what Will was saying about how it happened, because they said that kind of impact couldn't have caused this injury. But then, obviously, with some of his history that he has, the easy bruising, nosebleeds, things like that, and the positional hypertension, he was very premature. Um, Even though he's a big, tall boy, he's 5'9.5" already, and he's only 15. Um, but they then said that they would be looking very seriously um, into blood conditions, underlying blood conditions that would cause his body to react that way with the impact. Because we did confirm via CCTV that another boy needed him, and that's all it was. He shouldn't have done it, but it's all it was. So yeah, and Will was very nearly not here. 12 doctors worked on him. I've been sleeping on his floor next to him. He's having his dressings changed. He has a very big wound. He had to have a draining. And he has other adaptations that, we're going to have to see what he's left with and what he's not. So this is a long road ahead. But to the title, and that's all I'll say, because I want to respect his privacy regarding the nuances of where it is on his body and whatnot. But with respect to the title of this show and me managing to get on, I wanted to try last week, couldn't do it. It just wasn't workable. This week, Rosie had said, "You're doing it, Mum," because I was like, "I'm really missing them. I need to tell them what's happened." So the title, Will's autism can often make it seem like he's different, and we all are to a certain extent, living a very different reality to the reality that you can be standing right next to him in. And sometimes that causes difficulties for him, often, but he balances it so well. And but you recognize it sometimes as a mum, and you smile and you think, you didn't perceive that the way I perceived it. Um, and there's a frankness that comes with Will, in that he's very witty, but very frank with it, and quick-witted with it. And that's not from a dark place. It's just this no-nonsense reality that he lives in, where he's not egotistical. So he doesn't expect your ego to get bruised when he's frank about something. So looking at this boy that's head and shoulders above me, that usually can't take the slightest changes very well. He does take it well, but it's a struggle, to his routine, i.e., just daily routine, getting up at what time he waits at the clock literally to start brushing his teeth. There's things like that he sticks by. He was stuck in hospital with many adaptations to his body, very anemic. Long story short, I watched that boy shine such a light, um, and have such a purpose in that hospital for all of the nurses and doctors that looked after him. The wounds that they saw, they actually wrote in his file, look at the wound before you treat this boy, because he was refusing pain meds, and he can mask so well and still be so polite and so balanced with these people who are hurting him, doing things, waking him up, poking, prodding, taking blood, um, and that they did that because one of the nurses was in tears when he realized, when he looked at the actual wound, that he hadn't been giving him pain meds because Will had been refusing. And at that point insisted and wrote in his file in big red letters, look at the wound first, extreme masking. So when we were leaving the hospital and there was a few false alarms to getting home and then going back, the nurses and doctors lined up for Will, to say goodbye to him, which isn't the norm, and
Mm-hmm.
to say that the doctor actually said, Will, we've talked about you in every handover so that each doctor knows, because you've taught us a huge lesson, to one, that there are children like you that can mask in a way that we have never experienced before, but two, to recognize how strong you've been, how willful you've been, how you've what you faced and how you faced it and how you've held yourself. We've had big discussions over you as to future practice, and and just what a breath of fresh air you've been. And he's had really frustrating, understandable, frustrating times and worrying times. His body looks and feels different. Um, but that boy has shone such a light, so bright in the darkest space. It's opened up crystal caverns in people, that I saw one nurse after another be impacted by him in a different way, that was uplifting, that was full of growth, and reflection. And yeah, so it is really hard in this realm, and it's hard as well, especially when the astrological alignments meet with the reality that we've created as humans, and they collide in your life. But look for the light in that dark, because when you see just the smallest crack of it, when you polish that smallest crack, when you nourish it, when you feed it, when you speak to it, it opens up. Yeah, like the china vases where they break and they do it with gold thread to put them back together. Not because they want them to look new, but because they want to show the cracks. They want to show the path and the patience it took, and the dedication it took to glue it back together. Not for it to be the same, but for it to be a different impression of what it was before, with all of the pieces that were broken, but have now become whole. And that's been our story for the last, like you say, 5, nearly 6 weeks. And so yeah, we're there, we're in it. But I haven't had to be in the trenches with Will in this way, and since he was a preemie baby. And for all of the real struggles of an autistic teenager, if you're struggling with that at home, don't worry too much, because when they're challenged and you give them that smallest encouragement, they'll crack you open like an egg. And they'll crack you open and show your worth and their worth, and the truthfulness. So if you're feeling the same astrological things as this, which I knew I'd do when I saw you all again and seeing everybody's names in the chat, um, you do have to look for it. It's not a willy-nilly airs and graces, oh, all will be light and love. You do have to encourage it. And when you feed it and encourage it in the darkest places, I'd be in the trenches with my boy any day of the week, facing any challenge, uh, knowing that we're such a team, So yeah, that's
How's his
uh,
soul doing?
uh, you know what? It's been banged and bruised, but it's grown exponentially. I can see it, the maturity, the peace that surpasses any inner standing has been there in a way that I wouldn't have even predicted, and that's my job. I wouldn't have said it to be so. But there's a leveling up in his soul that I've seen, that is not in full fruition yet, even when as to what that means for him in the future, as to how he goes forward. Um, but yeah, when we came out of the hospital after these doctors and nurses had lined up to hug him and say their own little thing to him, um, he came out and he said, do they do that for everybody, Mum? And I said, no, baby, you made such an impression. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to be written about in journals, aren't I? And I said, I'm sure you are. I don't know why and I don't know what for, but I'm sure you are. And so he has like this knowing of himself from this, that really it's a challenge for any adult, for what he's going through and the changes he's facing and the unknowns he's facing. For him to have that peace in the chaos, for him to have that light in the dark, and for me to be the divine feminine to his divine masculine. For me to be that blank dark canvas, with the worries and the woes that mothers can carry. His stars shone so bright, and they continue to do so. So yeah,
I
but
see him on the time when he was on the operating table. He was actually hovering, between the realms. He's
he was very close. He visited it. He
yeah,
knows he
he's
has.
and he brought something back with him that I think is going to be a great benefit to him.
Yeah, something immense, something
He's got some
immense, and I
powerful
felt it in
spirit
the
guides
home.
around him. So, but that's indicative of your whole bloodline. So to me,
Yeah.
it's the same thing, with Rosie, and it's the same thing with Will and Theo,
But
and
for
with you.
anybody that doesn't know this, thank you, Wayne. I call in, and Trina and Wayne do this to me too, that I call in their spirits. I call in the compartmentalized aspect of that of them all of the time. And they know they're free. We've made a pact that they know that they're free to call on me at any time. And I'll feel my spirit being pulled sometimes, and other times it's completely automatic and autonomous to the spirit, separate to even the body. I called them in, and I call them in for these things because it works. So Wayne's spirit was in the operating room with him the whole time, with this finger on his temple, on his forehead here, sorry, in the middle the whole time. Just didn't move, didn't take any notice of me when I was trying to hop in that room to see anything. I was being sent out just by the fact that Wayne wasn't even looking at me. It was like, this isn't your space, Mama Bear, this isn't for you to see. So you held that space in that room, and in that dark room that I was waiting in to sleep in with Will, to receive him in. Um, Trina was there, completely taking no notice of me, but feeding the room, preparing the room for him coming into the room, which brought me great peace because then at that point, no matter what they were saying or how close they were saying he was, between the realms, I knew
Was
she
she
wouldn't have
wearing a
got
flowing
in the
gown?
room. Yes, yes,
Yes,
and
she
she
was.
had green,
I
had green
saw.
on.
I see you now, young lady. I see you. I
Yeah,
can see
like a very
exactly that.
organza veil type green.
As you were walking, it literally
Top.
they were flowing. Yeah, yeah.
So it was whiter and green, and just took no notice of me at all, while taking every notice of me because they were preparing the space for Will and and holding the space for Will. So you that's there too. The unseen is there, and the unseen can be found so
No.
much easier in the darkness. It really can, in the chaos, um, in
Brian's
the
distracting Trina.
No, Luna.
Luna.
I'm asking.
Oh, I was one step away.
Like it's Luna. You cuckoo.
uh,
Yes. Come here. Come here, but come on. Good girl. She does. She
oh,
is.
look at
Luna.
you, Luna.
There's my Luna. She's like, oh yeah, we're causing a little havoc right now.
So lovely.
You
What a
know
Yeah,
lovable puppy.
what
Jenny, what an amazing I consciously I knew something was going
yeah,
on. And I kept feeling it. I kept telling Brian, I was like, what is going on? I hope Jenny's okay. I kept feeling something. I was like, I hope Jenny's okay. But when you just said that, I could see all of it. And it really does work. And we do have an agreement. If you need
yeah,
me, just say so. We'll show
yeah,
up.
yeah. Without question. I'm like, I'm
Yep.
coming.
We're like on our way. Boom.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So,
just
and
call my
that's,
name.
I can't tell you how important that is. And you can make that pact with yourself. In that I know you two do it too. It's just as powerful, but it's the Trinity is very powerful, of course, but it's just as powerful in the Trinity in you. If you are alone or if you're feeling alone, you're never truly alone because you're here, so you can call on us when needed. But
Mhm.
also the Trinity of you. Often I'll stand in my body in absolute desperation or on my knees and say to my spirit, come to me now, heed my call. Because for some reason, distractions, busyness, tiredness, illness, whatever it might be that can cause that slight separation where you suddenly fool yourself into thinking you're alone, your spirit's right there to be called upon. Your spirit, your consciousness has got a vast array of ancestral, your knowledge and lineage swimming around, just waiting for you to swim in it. You can command it to drench you now, if you're in that desperate place where you're on your knees, either losing somebody or willing somebody better or yourself or whatever it might be, or even in danger, know that you can do
Or on
that.
something I mean, sweetie, if I could be right there with you, I'm just giving you a big hug, and
Definitely.
just kind of lifting it off the ground, going, you just answered something for me because I've been seeking something, but thank you. I mean, this is where the Gnosis comes in. This is where the revelation knowledge is passed from one living soul to another. And I've been, I don't have a problem. Sure, this is what we talk here. So I've been needing some breakthroughs. And last night, Trina, you and I were talking before Jenny came on. I don't know what happened to me. I wasn't here. When I came back in to this realm, I didn't even know what day it was.
Yep.
And something, so I went on a journey somewhere last night, but I sensed that I would have a direction, and you said it, Jenny. It's sometimes as simple as not submission, but admission to the fact of get on your knees and just simply command it. Ask where it is. Ask,
You
whatever
know,
you may. What's
It's
that,
so
sweetie?
beautiful that you're talking about this. This has been so on my mind lately. It's like everybody talks about the false light and this, and is there a soul trap? All this different stuff. I was like, it appears 90% of our problem is that we don't know how to operate our light systems. And
Mm.
we need to remember how to connect to that. And I was like, well, what is light? We've got organic and we've got synthetic. Do you hold a spark or do you hold a flame? I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Is it a divine spark or is it actually a flame?
I see
Fire.
within myself that I am, I wrote this in, even in darkness, I am light. I thrive
Yeah,
in both. Light is darkness, as darkness is light. For the light is contained within the darkness. Darkness contains the light. I am both.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, but yeah, I was
So
going through
thank
the
you. I
spark.
am literally, when I get done with this, the process of just, it's not surrender so much as it is an admission of saying, all right, I may not get all the answers, but hey, I can command those things. Like you said, I can command them to
Yeah.
be so.
You
It's a
know that the
submission.
the astral is right here.
Yeah.
It's right here. The whole
By the
astral
way, Jenny, your chant, every time you do a shadow, I see a green. Um, your shadow is not black, it's green.
Yeah.
That's my birthstone, and I think that's
Yeah.
why Trina was wearing the green sash, because
And
that
green,
was her, yeah,
green.
yeah, yeah, and it was like the emerald type green, but it was organza, so it's
Hmm.
see through. But yeah, so yeah, you know what, I can absolutely say I've been on my knees, I've been in that spiritual space where you're in the mud, you feel it, you have to feel it, you have to, when you're in that kind of situation. But that mud for me is where I do my craft, so in my
Yeah.
spiritual mind I was creating a space for me to place him in, for me to concentrate, to me to feel the soil, feel the clay that's in it, speak to it, and hear what it has for on offer, for me to either draw from Will or push into him the minerals. And so that's the space and that visualization. I know I go to that space. I know that space fully exists just as this space does. And that's my space of submission and commanding. And some people might see it as, yeah, I come out of there like the tarot star card. The tarot star card initially was the naked woman covered in scars and bloodied, because she's healed. She's gone through a gauntlet to be able to create that circuit, to create that beautiful garden within. She's had to get in the minerals, in the mud, in the, that she's had to get up to that point for the previous cards that come before her. And so that it is that submissive space, and it is right there. It's literally right there in the thought. It's like Trina says, it's all within. It really truly is, and it's only ever projected on the without. You
It's
know.
like the surrender Wayne's talking about. It's like when you decide, okay, I'm going to connect to the libraries of myself.
Yeah.
Everything that you need is there. No, nothing will show up in the reality that you're not equipped for. It's in there. And that's what I was kind of working on. It's like, okay, how do we just pull this information in the way we want it? And it was like it's all light, code, and frequency. And all you have to do is intend it, but you have to get out of the way. And that's the surrender part. That's the get on your knees part. You're like, I am just the vessel for this information, for healing, for whom I love. And you open up and you get everything you need, and it goes right to them because it's in alignment with them. So this is like the thing I was working on. I'm like, how do we really start to direct this light? Because I think that this is our next step, is understanding more of it, how it works in the body. And like, I think the different information is in the different levels of your energy bodies. So finding out what is where. And then I was also thinking too, I'm like, I wonder if the original energy that we're dealing with here, the first energy layer we need to get through is cause and effect.
then I had that
Yeah.
dream that I was in the bathroom looking in the mirror and my fucking image said boo. And I woke up,
That's even every fractal's got a personality in you, Wayne.
freaked my ass out. I mean, I
Oh,
jumped up and, Bentley like jumped out of the bed but no kidding.
I love that.
I was in the bathroom and I'm looking at myself and my fucking image said boo and it just freaked, I don't know.
that's
Yeah.
the twin, the magic of the mystery of the stories of our twin. We have the
Well,
identical twin.
obviously it's a prickster. I mean, it's like the bumper sticker I saw one time, and it said "Jesus loves you" because everyone else thinks you're an asshole. It's just, it's like, what does that mean? I mean, I walked around kind of like, anyway, yeah. I said boo, and it just
That's amazing. You know what
had
else is
no
profound
idea.
about the mirror?
Huh?
It's so funny too, because when you think of the mirror, it's reflecting you. So yeah, that
Yeah.
boo's in you. It's just so funny because it's only reflecting what you are.
I didn't
Yeah,
find it humorous at the time, I gotta tell you.
right,
Who's the asshole
right.
now?
Yeah,
But
but
now I'm thinking about it,
Glenn
it
is
is kind
rolling on the floor right now, laughing, going, "Oh, dude, we twisted him up good this
of,
time."
And hear like a kid saying it was his fault,
shit.
and well, he was.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God,
Really is.
Wade. They're like, as many brains as you cracked open and fell on the floor. They were laughing. They were like, got you,
yeah, I mean,
but we owed you a few. Now you know what it feels like.
I'm laughing now because I can tell you before I wasn't. It was like, yeah,
Oh, Wayne, if I learned anything from you, learn to laugh, right?
yeah, exactly.
Right the way through it. Right the way through it.
That's all I got to say.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, that's funny.
so
Oh,
Trina, how have you been? Now we know about my lovely wife Lynn and with Will and I just got to say this about you, Jenny. I mean, you are, you know, when the word witch is used, it should be used in reverence because it's typically very wise women.
yeah.
And I'm surrounded by two of them, and I have another one that's sitting in the front room. So I've got the Holy Trinity, just
Yeah,
the
you
rest of you
have.
guys, tough. I mean, I got it. I try to get it down. But anyway, uh, but that's
Find
what
it.
I see because, you know, the two of you bring such esoteric knowledge and anywhere from, you know, reading of the cards to Trina, your ability in spatial thinking in multiple dimensions. And it's a powerful group here. So, what do y'all, the question I have, because we're the world is in some strange places. I mean, this thing with the sun today, that's going to be interesting. I mean, that is sending right now, a lot of proton energy is hitting the earth. We're being impacted by it. I think that if you're an empath or gifted, if you're finding that it's almost like ants crawling on you, there's a good reason for it. It's happening. And the world in itself seems to be, wow, the only thing I can say, they keep saying about all this peace, but all I see is this war.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I
And I
mean,
keep thinking too, we're doing all this such fast movement worldwide for, all the artificial stuff. And it's like, I still don't understand how this is going to work out well for the planet and for humanity. I can't understand it. Everything is changing quickly, very,
very
very, very
fast.
quickly. And, I keep getting so much information on, hold on to your soul because the gatekeepers, they really want to keep it. And I do think there's
Even the
some,
government is saying something comes,
but
Wasn't it
too, Wayne, I, I,
what was
s-
that, hun?
I also see too, like the sun freaking out and coding. That's what's doing. It's
Mm.
coding everything. And then this whole three eye atlas stuff. Wow, what an interesting thing this is. I mean,
And I got to tell you, I have not in any way in my consciousness and in my solar space. When I think about that, it's a blank wall. I,
you,
I just
you know
don't
when
get
I got
anything
my
from that.
information? When I was talking to you was when I got the information. I literally saw it was a measuring device and it had three eyes, past, present, future. It was looking at all timelines and it'll be coding and receiving and then later I heard it's gathering all the data for the reset so they can install it into a new
Do you think that
simulation.
that is, and Jenny, do you have the data centers showing up over in your part of the world?
Yeah, but not as rapidly, and they're a bit more limited here. They should not as limited as they should be, because we still have environmental laws, whereas this regime got rid of all of those. For Elon, Elon was facing court cases in 2024 for poisoning people in USA because of the data center leakage it was causing. Like Trina said, I don't think people contemplate how bad it is for the environment, these big data centers. So we haven't got any, but I know there'll be plans for them to build one of the biggest ones in Argentina soon, if they haven't already started. I'm sure that that's part of that process. So, things are getting closer, but the environmental laws are off right now in the US. So or anywhere that the US can own. So it's a great place for them to be. That's why they're doing it there mostly. Otherwise, they would be coming up a lot more in Europe too. So we do have quite big data centers, but nowhere near the amount and size that you guys have got popping up.
I have a
Um,
friend that lives, he's in the movie business, and he wrote me, he said, how in the blank, 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 and he's a cool dude. I've known him since I lived in Austin back in the 90s. Anyway, he says, dude, there is, I think it's Netflix that's coming out, but the concept is, and he says, it's like you almost read their script, that these data centers are in fact living nodes
yeah.
and
Yes.
that, yeah. And he wouldn't get into it, but he says you're pretty much on target on this, and we it's literally like we're being attached virtually to, you can call
Wayne, no,
yeah.
don't say it. Do you remember years ago when I was saying when I was having to limit Will's not limit when I was having to limit Will's online time, and I'd said to you and Trina, I literally saw it like it was painful for him, like I was pulling out a matrix like umbilical cord. It was actually
That's the
painful.
core.
I was severing it from him. So yeah, you're right. And give your friend this, as if it's part of the script. I've always said that we impact the weather, the planets as they impact us. It's a chain. It's a toroidal field of reaction. Like Trina said before, there is no beginning or end. I feel like the weather gets very windy and impacted when much more volatile when we are being more volatile. When Trina said, or you said about those protons being uh, high right now, what if what I'm feeling is right is that the data centers being living organisms, I feel, with a circulation of water, um, what if they are actually coding the sun like Trina says, because they are like we do, pulling a messaging. So if those data centers maybe can message more than the humans do, like emit more than the humans do, what are we going to do when the sun starts catering for the data centers as the predominant living organism here? What if the code can be sent out for that from these data centers independently, and the sun really does start to adapt like it always has adapted to life on here in
Think
this realm?
about nanobots. Jenny, I've got you full screen because I got to tell you what, I'm fascinated. So hold your hand up here. No, your other hand. There you go. Are y'all seeing that? Now put it here by your neck. Now pull it away like this. Do you see that? Is anyone else
I can
seeing
feel
that?
it.
Are you
I can
seeing that
feel
green
it.
light?
If I do
Is it
that, I
just
can
me?
feel it right
There's a
there.
green room. Yeah.
It's predominantly stronger in this hand, the one with the
Yeah.
ring.
Mm.
This one's
No,
my
and
green.
it's literally
This
Ginny
is
with both of
Iranian
you.
jade as well. So
No, there's something else going on here, girl. That I'm just hey, it's our show, so I'm just I don't see that normally because I can see shadows, in people, but yours is it's green. I mean,
Healing
it's
energy.
far
so
out. That's all
maintaining,
I
I
gotta
mean,
say, hon. I
maintaining the
just
frequency for healing, that's sure.
It is.
I'm
When the
telling
blood
you,
intruding
it
thoughts come
is
in, it's like,
far
no.
out. Um,
Yeah.
Chris says it's because she's full of love. Well, I just
Being
think
hard.
it's just far out. I
Mhm.
mean, look at that. That is just so cool, Jenny. It's like viewing it through a beautiful, priceless emerald.
Oh, thank you.
Remember, Wayne, when I told you
I
when
think
a
of
mother,
Thoth when I think of that.
when a mom prays for a child, it is the most powerful light I'd ever seen. And it's almost like she's carrying the residue of all the prayer and all the love
And it's
that she
powerful,
was
all right.
sending
Yeah.
to Will for him to
If I
heal.
was in your room right now, I'd be telling you lay hands on me, man. I want some of that.
Right?
Just lay hands on me, Jenny. That's it, hon. That's all I
Want
got
Noted
to
some of
say.
that
it.
mojo?
I mean, I'm just telling you, I want some more
But,
of it. It's just like
but
that's the kind of shit you really want to go and if you ever had the ability to see into that realm, I have this it's a blue white light that I told y'all the story about the woman that followed us. But you've got it, it's fabulous, Jenny. I mean, I would lay hands on Will after this, and because you've got some it's just all over you. That's all I gotta say.
it's running right
It
through me.
looks
It's
good
like
on you.
But
all over you, man.
thank but Trina, like Trina says, I haven't actually stopped interceding. I'm interceding now. It's been weeks
Yeah.
of just a conversation constantly.
Loretta
And
says, touch the screen. There that you know what, Loretta, there's some truth to that.
I feel it, but Loretta, for your foot, I don't know if you've got an achy foot or if you banged that foot. I can feel your foot, Loretta, or whether
You know
you
who
just
I
grabbed
learned that through?
it.
Ernest Angley.
Um,
Oh,
He
yes,
was
he's such
an
a sweet.
evangelist back in the 60s and 70s, but he found out something about television. And I remember him talking about this. By the way, he was one of the first preachers that actually had a 747, but he used it to feed people all over the world. But he said in this meeting that we were in, he said, I'm telling you, there's something about television that they don't tell you. He
yeah,
said it was a two-way receiver.
it is.
And he said, as in the days of old, when you could have a cloth that was on a person who had a certain anointing, that cloth would carry that anointing out. And he said that if you transmit by putting your hand on that receiver, that the receptor who would be ready to receive it would receive it through the television. Because what is the television? It's to tell the vision.
So, with that being said, then you're not embarrassed about my foraging hands in this group. So, with this being said, for
Yeah,
science
just
and
go ahead and put your hand right
spirituality,
up on mine. I'm
healing,
doing
and
it.
see who pops
Hmm.
up in the where is it? See who pops up in the chat as to what healing they feel.
Oh,
Let
Jenny,
you
you
see.
have the most
Let's
interesting
see.
palm. Look at that. And it's almost green, folks. I mean, I'm receiving it. I'm pulling from it.
I felt it go straight into my heart.
Yeah. Look at your palm. Oh, I'd love to do a reading on you, girl.
Oh
Wow, you've
yeah.
got a triangle. You've got the mystical. Holy crap, girl. All right. I'm telling you, folks. you can find it to be nonsense or real, but I find it to be real. So
I do too.
yeah, there is no.
Yeah, so
Thank you, girl.
Loretta, you see, I could feel Loretta's foot when you said Loretta's name. I thought really pulsated. So she said in the chat, "How did you know?" Yes, Trina is golden. Trina's always got a golden light emitting from her.
Mm.
Um, and then
She's
she's
the
just
golden
accept,
goddess. That's all I
so
gotta
she's
say.
just accepted that healing. So thank you, Loretta, for accepting that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you see, Neutrino is saying the same thing. I can see the green ore. Yes,
Mhm.
it's there. It's all over you, girl. It's
Lovely.
that's what I like about doing this show. I mean, you know, I learned a lot as a Christian. I was on the mystic side, believing in the Holy Spirit, and I still do. In fact, I'm going to be covering a book real quick on exactly. I'm a witch and filled with the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit's no religion. It's a
Mhm.
Exactly. We
powerful.
explained that like everything else. It's such
Yeah,
deep.
yeah.
It's
And
such
it's like we have this medium. That's why it's called a medium.
Mhm.
When you give a reading, Jenny, it's a medium, right? If we're
absolutely.
channeling, it's a medium, right?
Yeah.
So YouTube for me, that's why I don't want a big channel. I like the intimacy of this group because
Mhm.
we can do magic here. And when I say
Mhm.
by magic, we exchange energy. We're alchemists. We're pulling energy. And I'll say this. My wife could have been hurt much, 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 much worse.
I know
And
that.
Jenny, the same with Will and Trina, even with, I'm thinking with Brian. I mean,
Mhm.
things could have been, and there is this protective spear
Yeah.
that we have formed consciously or unconsciously. It's there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
it's powerful. And just like Jenny was talking about how Will, even in his greatest struggle, he was shining so much light and he changed all those people. That's literally what they're showing me is how to master the light. He mastered the light that day and he affected everybody. And literally, he walked everybody into the fifth dimensional frequency. That's literally
He
what it
yeah.
did.
is.
Those nurses were just in awe of him. The doctors were in awe of him. And actually, it's hard for doctors and nurses sometimes to be humble and even admit that they might
Nah,
not have been thinking of this. No, never let it be said. Or not
ego.
even thinking of the right thing. You've got to not try to correct them too much. You've got to be careful of their ego because of the way that it's set up in those systems. But these doctors, because of his ability to submit to this horrific, sudden thing that was happening to him, these doctors and nurses their ego was set aside. And I could tell some of them were a bit egotistical. They made me giggle when I was looking at their personalities and their aura, because I was like, yeah, I want a narcissist to operate on my son, because a narcissist knows he won't fail. A narcissist can tell himself,
Love
put
that.
narcissism to good use. I was writing T-shirts in my head, because it is a great field for narcissists to go into because they can be epic surgeons or epic
Yep.
nurses because they have no fear of failing and they have no
Nope.
fear of cutting somebody open. They don't get
Nope.
those self-proclaiming doubts. So I was like, yeah, you be as narcissistic as you like right now, or as ADHD as you like, or pedantic as you like. If you're operating on my son, I want you to do your routine. Do your autistic or neurodiverse routine, and because of Will's neurodiversity and his struggles that he's had to do that inner work to get to a much more balanced state where he manages it, the ego of these people was set aside. They weren't even thinking of their ego. They were submitting to him. He was breaking them down, Trina,
You know
but in a
what?
way of just being himself.
What I was seeing is he was sending his light to them so they would bring the best light they had to help heal him. He was literally instructing them through their frequency
So
to be
much
the best
sense.
they
You
could
know him
be.
so well because he's very structurally thinking and he's
Yeah,
very matter of fact. So he would have done that kind of equation in his
I
head.
can see it. Yeah.
I'll give it to you because I won't thieve from anybody, but give it back with your knowledge, give it back with your skill sets. He had them in the palm of his hand. It was just, yeah, you're right. That's exactly what he did. A few times I
Yeah.
saw him, like
Well, he's a
fully.
warrior.
He- Absolutely. I can't tell you. I can't tell you how blown away I've been, how proud I've been. Oh, I don't know where the camera's gone. Will it come back?
I see you.
Ooh, come
Yeah,
to
I
me.
see you.
So yeah,
There's spirits moving around you, girl. Or I'm tripping, and I ain't tripping, but I'm telling you, there is. Doesn't surprise me. I'm telling you,
15.
there is a correlation, as I learned from that guy over almost 50 years ago, the power, and we don't do it. It's amazing how ignorant most humans are. They use one of the most powerful mediums that we've created, and they only use it to a very limited part of its potential. We don't understand that literally by putting your hand on that, you are energy. And by carrying my image of this camera, it's carrying literally the freaking atoms of my energy. And if you're a receptor to it, you can receive that.
Yeah.
Think about it, folks. In fact, we might just do a whole show on it. Because for the person who looks from the outside in, they think you're nuts, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yet they don't understand. If you're a gamer, what's happening? You're exchanging energy both
Mhm.
to and fro. So,
Mhm.
Kimmy,
I
it
keep
just freaks
seeing the
me out every
weirdest
time I
stuff.
see that green.
Like I keep,
It's
I,
all over you, man. What's that, Trina?
what's so weird? I keep seeing energy and technology. Like I keep seeing like they're mimicking each other. So like working with your Akashic record and all the information, all the frequencies, the symbols, the sigils that help people heal, all these things. It's like I'm seeing it like you can literally go into your field, click on it, and drop and drag it out into this reality. I'm starting to see all these weird little tools, and it's ironic because they use these with technology. And when I look at technology, technology has mimicked the technology that we are, I believe. And we're
Yes,
far
very
superior
Well, you
unique.
to
think about
anything
it,
else.
you could take this from the fact that, going with the script and God created man in his image. Doesn't mean he was standing in front of him. Could have been in front of a monitor, from another part of the gal or whatever. What I'm just talking
Uploading
about.
all the data and
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, girl.
Through the
That's what I'm talking about.
sun.
You know, Adam had the freaking remote going, uh-huh, uh-huh, but
yeah,
I
but then
don't
I
think
think
it's that
about it.
far away.
I like, okay, but is this world all based on, that's why they call it demiurge and they call it, messed up and it's like not proper. I wonder if that's because it was based on synthetic rather than organic. But that's the only way you could actually learn this kind of stuff is if you went into that type of a system. So I've been going through a lot of that stuff in my mind, questioning. It's like, okay, so is this construct completely artificial? And how would you get back to the original realities if it was?
It's like
And
that
I've been
movie Galaxy Quest that Tim Allen was in. It was a comedy, but the fact
Mm,
was is that it was a culture of homo, some sort of man. They were bipedal, they looked human, but the point was they had been in war for millions and millions of years. And suddenly they started picking up our radio, our television broadcast. And they began to learn by the I Love Lucy, Leave It to Beaver, the Diner,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
shows continued. They built their culture around it. It was their God, it was their laws.
Yeah,
yes.
I know
Yeah.
what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what is it any different than us?
That's
Yeah,
that's what I've been looking at. I'm like, I'm getting really like, wow, what is
Hmm.
this? Really, what is this? And then, every time I really look, they're like, it's just a mirror of what's inside of you. And you guys are in a collective agreement holding all this together. But it's so crazy because there's like synthetic and then two different kinds of light. And I was going back with okay, the flame is elemental, but the spark is electric.
All right, you just set something off. So going back to the script, this God supposedly said, "Let there be light," right? But then you read further down, he said he separated light from the darkness, which meant that there was a artificial light that was already within the light that had within it the darkness. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
and how do you
creating
separate light and darkness?
exactly how do,
You add a shadow.
and then when you
Shadow.
hold your hand up, it's green.
In the space.
It's still green. That's all I got to say. That's all I know. Um, oh, I tell you what, ladies, we could go for a while on this because it's happening.
It
And I
is.
don't know what this big event, I guess we were wrong on the Deagle report because by the Deagle report, it said in 2025 there's going to be this mass die-off. But then again, I wonder, well, maybe they may have said it would start in 2025. But it certainly seems like something is being planned. I mean,
It seems like though, if we looked at the numbers
hello, kitty, kitty, kitty,
for
kitty, kitty.
the natural disasters that we've had, and I mean, because we've had a major wave of people no longer being present, and a lot of that was due to different kind of illnesses. So I wonder from the time of 2020 to now, if we have lost a significant chunk of our population.
Many
I
people
think
would say
so.
that. And I know that YouTube and Google and the rest of them try to censor that, but I don't care what they say. The actuaries tell the story, and these are the
Yeah,
coroners.
I'm like, it's not
Yeah.
measuring to me when I see and how many people you know. I'm like, I don't know. I wonder, yeah, I'm
Well,
really curious about that, what these numbers really are.
Again,
I
why
don't-
aren't they building bigger cemeteries?
Right? Oh
exactly.
God. Oh,
Makes
But
you think
oh.
where it's going and how it's being
well,
used.
here's
Yeah.
something. So, we have a person in the family who works in the industry, the death industry.
Mhm.
Um, so what do you think the percentage is of people who are buried or interned in the ground to those who are burnt,
40,
cremated?
60,
Go up
20, 80.
close. It's almost 90-10.
Yeah.
More people are being cremated
Uh-huh.
than interned into the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
Isn't that
It's
weird?
interesting too. There's all this stuff going on with where are the BO things, where are the leftovers when people, they're like asking questions about that. One of
It's
my
like
friends,
Soylent Green. They're
yeah, one of
eating
my friends,
people, you know?
Wayne, she was so smart and she was very intuitive. And you know what? She had the weirdest request when she passed away. She said, I need somebody to watch me go in the oven. I
Yeah.
need you to
So I'm
witness this.
glad you're bringing this up. So, Balowski, is that her name? I think that
Oh,
is
Blavatsky,
Balowski.
Helena.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been reading a writing on hers on cremation. I was not aware of this, but apparently there is a ritual that has to be observed when a person is cremated. And she says that the body needs to be held for, it's like 7 or 9 days before it's
Before
cremated.
it's cremated. Yep.
Then
Wayne,
you,
interesting. I got this in the mail 2 days ago.
no shit. Look at
No
that.
shit. And this is the big one. This
That's a
isn't the
big one.
one.
Yeah,
This is
that's
the
casual
original.
reading.
It's the original. It's from the original and it's a facsimile. So it's been reproduced because you can't get these anymore. But I was like, but I got the original. It is a facsimile, but it's the original on how it was. I'm like, this is wow.
Well, it should
Look
be
at that
interesting
bad boy.
reading. But I had never really ever heard of that before. I mean, that there was Neutrino A says, yes, Wayne, I want to be cremated 3 days after my spirit. Now, see, that is what, and if you know something about it, I'd love to do a show on that because I was unaware that there
You know
is
what
this
I just heard in
ceremony.
my consciousness?
What's that?
You should do 9 days to make sure you get through the 9 realms.
Something
Yeah,
on
that's
that,
usually
yeah.
the case, the space and time for people crossing over. It's
Yeah.
and different cultures will have slightly different days, but I would choose the 9, for that reason.
And
There's
On
a
the
significance to the number.
yeah,
completion. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah,
yeah, I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I was hearing 9 very strong. They're like 9
Mia
levels,
says
9
she has,
days.
I made a note not to be burned before 3 days. Um,
Mm-hmm.
my wife and I, we are going to be cremated, but I want to
Mm-hmm.
learn more of this because if there is, I mean, the last thing you want to do is, you've got the map, but you failed to read the footnote. It's like,
Yeah. Well,
oh,
like I
before
said,
you go do this, you should have this done. It's like I
well,
don't
my
want
friend's
to.
mom, Wayne, she is really she was in the know. She just was gifted. And when I knew that that's what she wanted done, I always was like, well, there is something to that.
Hmm.
There is something to that. So I was like, okay. But now we got all this, cemetery stuff going on and all that. It's like people know things that a lot of people don't know about, and I think that was a big clue.
Yeah, and I used to travel to New York City a lot. Won't be going there anytime in the near future. But anyway, it's you're going out to LaGuardia, you have to pass through the one part there in the east side of the river where the cemeteries is. But the weird thing about it is they ran out of space and now they stack the bodies. You may have one plot that may have, 10, 12 other bodies joining you. So, yeah,
Wow.
something's going on. That's all I got to
Something's
tell you.
going on. The
Yeah,
math
because
don't crunch, Matt. It does the math. It don't crunch.
they got all
No,
these
nothing,
new
nothing.
subdivisions being built, but there ain't no new cemeteries. I'm
that's
going,
what I mean. The math doesn't make sense.
yeah. Who's the kitty cat, Jenny?
Oh, that's Mitt. She's eating down there. Sorry if you can hear.
She
Come.
is, I love her
You know
spirit.
what? When she are you coming? She's not coming. When I pull the cards out, she'll come in. That's why she came, because I was shuffling cards.
Well, why don't you
But
do cards real quick? Because,
he'll tell you
I saw
she's
her
got more
come through and I
to
went,
but when I was doing readings on my channel. So I pulled out some cards while you were talking. So we've got the 2 of Wands here. So
Mm.
this is fire. You can see this guy's in red. He's got the whole world in his hands. So he's contemplating a wider horizon, though. And when I pulled this out, that's what I was asking Trina. It was, what's that show? Is it the Truman Show, the movie where he's in a very controlled environment and he thinks that's
Yeah.
the real world, and
Yep.
it's like a set.
that's
Yep.
So as
true.
you were talking about what we've just been speaking about, is that how many people are, dying, how many people are going, as per like the Deagle report, people like me have said in the past, and it is many, but there are worlds within worlds, and we are so controlled and manipulated as to literally, just like I said with Will, him standing next to me can be in a completely different reality, seeing a
Yes.
completely different perspective, horizon, or path. Um, and that's a natural thing. It's the nuances between us and the differences. But we have this unnatural algorithm over us right now, like never before, controlling what we see. So our world might seem okay. It might seem peachy. It might seem a little bit, rocked up outside, but we're okay. Look beyond that. Look beyond your own world and your own perspective, and be open to how others are being affected, in order for you to see bigger horizons for you, for your world that's in this hand here, to open up. Because this is the 2 of Wands. It's a planning card. It's a strategy card. It's like putting a to-do list together. But this speaks to a bigger and wider perspective of this to-do list is of a different nature for a lot of people to either move physically, and quite quickly for some of you in the chat, but also for you consciously to be aware of other people's worlds, to be aware of other people's realities, under the same government as you, in the same reality as you, in the same house as you. Be aware that they can be truly living a completely different reality to you while being right next to you. Then we've got the Eight of Pentacles. So this is Earth. And it's it's this hard work that's been put into this earth, into these pentacles. Is etching these symbols onto the pentacles. So there's a part of him, there's that transference like we were doing with our hands. There's an energy that's been put into these physical means, these physical wares. Um, be aware of how to balance that out and what is important and what isn't. It's the Eight, so it's asking you to find a balance, to find a way of making this physical security more stable, more generational, securing things, and being brave to maybe use some of these to secure a different reality. Then we've got a major arcana for the last card being the Chariot. So you can see here he's got stars on the canopy. This speaks to, this is in the spirit realm. It does speak to the chariot going across the sky. And he needs very much for this yin and this yang to be in balance, for its yoke to be equal, to not be unequally yoked. That speaks to you managing to maintain balance in your physical world, your conscious world, your passionate world, spiritual, in order for your chariot to be born into the skies and go at the speed it needs to go at so that it doesn't split in two. That speaks to the Eight as well. So this is number 7 as a major arcana, and it reflects back to this Eight very much so, because it speaks to the fact that you're trying to maintain a balance between the two here, because keeping this chariot, although it might seem like a struggle and difficult, and sometimes you're bruising your ego by staying in balance in the physical, no matter what you're facing, this chariot is what is key here, is important in the invisible, that you manage to maintain grounding and balance here in order to keep this chariot whole, because then this comes back to the 2. So we've got the 7, the 8, and then you would say the 9 and the 10 with the 2. This is a completion that people are going through, but it's not going to look pretty for a lot of people, because it's going to be something that they've maybe struggled not to perceive or see prior to now. But then we've got the Judgment card. It keeps coming up. We've spoken about it lots on this channel. These people are rising naked in their full naked self, and they're rising to a frequency that resonates with them. There's a river between them and a whole group of people on the other side rising to their own frequency. And it speaks to what can you really shed and let go of? What perspectives that hold you back from seeing worlds within worlds have you still got? What do you need to shed like the snake in order to become more open and raw and honest to the frequency that's pulling you? But not only that, seeing the nakedness and the rawness of other people and being accepting of it in their frequency, meeting them in their frequency. So it's rough. It's hard work for a lot of people. But when you've got this down, I know it's been very hard for Will, but I can say he's absolutely been living this reading, and maintaining that balance, maintaining that chariot. We still don't fully know what Will brought back, but like Wayne said, he brought back something. He planted seeds, not just a seed, he planted seeds in his
You know
soul.
what I keep seeing through all of this, Jenny? It's like the choosing point. Will chose to stay.
He did. He
Yeah.
The
did.
warrior.
And I literally, and it's like the first one was the 2 swords. It was like, okay, now you will choose which sword you hold. And then you see the pentacles and all the work. And then the looking out at the world and the new, it's like, this is a new direction. And then judgment, nakedness, starting over. Wow, that's like, it's profound, was so accurate with where we are, but I can see all of this like playing out with this 3-eye atlas might be the measurement of all of this. And this is the great sorting that's happening. And then, I really do wonder about how many people are actually here. And there's a lot of missing reports, and, you never know. So it's all speculative. We don't know. But I really wonder if this is happening. And right now people are choosing.
Choosing, very definitely. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would to me what I feel. And you know, they will do as they will. You have to do as you will. And what I can say to that is, if you're worried about people around you in this choice space that we're in this realms between realms, worlds between worlds that we're in, then again, I keep going back to Will, but it's still feeding me. I'm still in it with him, in that he actually impacted other people's lives on that ward, um, strongly, just by doing this type of reading, these types of energies for himself. He wasn't doing it for any other gratification, or he was just in it, and he made a choice, like Trina says, to see a strength that he didn't think he had, to see something beyond the horizon that he didn't contemplate was at his fingertips before now, or to just be so close to the horizon to say, no, you know what, I really do like my family, and pull him back that way. But his light actually put other people in this path, in their own way, in their own reading. I know that those nurses and doctors from their own mouths let him know that for various reasons it caused change. So you can be worrying and trying to project outwards right now, looking after others, when really it does come from within, and you've got much more chance of saving others, although I don't condone anybody doing that, than this way, by then trying to take the horse to water, so to speak. That ain't gonna work. So doing it this way, doing it from within, is a very powerful thing for a lot of people, especially in this chat, because a lot of people are empaths here. So
There are a lot of empaths. And someone said, I am an empath, not a witch. That's okay. However it is. Well, ladies, thank you. Hope to see you next Tuesday. You know, all of us this we keep in tune with one another, and
Absolutely.
it's been fun. Missed
You
y'all
know
for
what I
sure.
keep seeing over and over too? Remember how when we were doing stuff and it kept coming up the realm bridger?
Mm-hmm.
I like just saw Will showed us how to build the realm bridge. He showed us how to do it.
It's so funny because he draws bridges all the time,
Mhm.
his art is very uh, don't know what the style is. It's like, how architects have a real skill, but they like the lines and the structure and the scale. His artwork is phenomenal, but it's all like very diagrammy stuff of like true to form hearts or bridges. There is two things that he draws a lot of. And skyscrapers. So you're so spot on with him, but you always are, Trina. So
Hmm.
thank
All
He's
right,
building
ladies.
the realm.
you. The two
Keep
fires.
strong. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody. And build a bridge for humanity today. There you go. That's what Will's doing. All right,
Hmm.
ladies. Much love to y'all. And see y'all next Tuesday, hopefully. I don't
Yeah.
see any reason not to. And make sure to check out tomorrow with Dr. Heather Lynn. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Anunnaki connection.
That'll be awesome.
I think
I
it'll be
think she's
awesome.
spot on with this. I
I'm
do.
looking forward to it.
Really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been looking at that for a long time and thinking, uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, this could
Yeah.
be exactly
This
what we're
girl
looking
knows
at.
what she did. All right,
Yeah,
ladies,
it's
everybody in
gonna
the
be good.
chat room, we love you. Thank you all. You two goddesses, I'll see you next week for sure. That's what I'm speaking, calling those things
I
that be
am.
not.
I'm calling that in too.
See, there we go. We got two in agreement. Got it done.